Hello and welcome to quarterfinal coverage of Grand Prix Phoenix. Brian David Marshall alongside Paulo Vitor Domodorosa, and we are watching Jacob Nagro playing blue-green red Dyna, sort of.
Yeah, that is an interesting archetype.
During Reid Duke, who is a much more decided green-white dinosaurs deck. We watched Reid Duke draft on camera. He opened up a repeating barrage, but very disciplinedly got away from red and found himself in green-white. Here we see him start things off with a Raptor Companion.
Yeah, I spoke to Reid during deck building, and he said, yeah, my first 3 picks were red, and then I kind of, abandoned red. Maybe I shouldn't have, I don't know. He said, green and white were really flowing a lot, but my red cards were so good. So he's a bit undecided on what to do with those. But I think, yeah, his deck turned out okay. He's got a series of good dinosaurs. Unfortunately for him, I think his biggest bomb, so to speak, is the Awakening Sun's Avatar. That is not going to necessarily be as effective because his opponent is also dinosaurs or some variation of that. Yes.
But here we see a deep root warrior is the first play for Nagro, but he finds himself outmatched on the board with a territorial hammer skull, joining Reid Duke's, at the moment, mono white team.
Yeah, and Jacob said that this type of deck is that he likes to draft, but usually not green. He likes the blue-black ramp decks with treasures and a splash color for removal. And right now he's green-blue, which is, he says, is something he's never done before. Oh, but the style of deck is similar, but the colors are different. It should be okay. Green has Ramp, has Blossoming Dryad, has New Horizons, and, some mana fixing too.
Well, here we see him using Pirate's Prize to draw 2 cards, but also do that sort of ramp and fix thing. Yeah. Where he gets a treasure for his efforts.
Yeah, that's what he's looking to do. And he's banking a lot on his 2 fiery cannonades that he's splashing. And he said, well, if those are good against my opponent, then my deck is good. If those are bad against my opponent, then I might have some trouble. And the jury is still out on whether they're good against Reid's deck or not. Right now, they aren't. But again, Reid... Oh, no, they are. That's a 3-1. Yeah, I thought it was a 3-3. Yeah, right now, it would be very good.
Getting 2 Raptor Companions would be pretty sweet. Here we see... Oh, wow, look at this. A Raging Swordtooth comes down and takes out a pair of Companions.
Yeah, and that is a beating.
And you know what? Jacob does not care that Territorial Hammer Skull is going to tap his creature because he's swinging back for so much damage here.
Oh, yeah, he really doesn't. And at this point, if, Reid is stuck on 3 planes. Oh, yeah. And so if Jacob just plays a creature, Jacob wins next turn. I believe Jacob has a bounce back in hand too. But, this game is, I think, effectively over.
He's going to cast a Commune with Dinosaurs. And there you see that fiery cannonade going by the wayside here. He has to take a forest. No dinosaurs in hand.
Yeah, there are quite a few in his deck, so it's kind of unlucky, I guess, to have to hit a land. Though, if you're going to get unlucky, this is the spot you want to be unlucky in, where the game is basically locked up.
While your opponent's getting more unlucky?
Yeah. It always feels bad to waste your amazing draws on their bad luck. Have you ever felt that? You're like, you look at your hand, my hand is so good, you're pulling mulligans to 5.
Oh, this was going to be such a good game.
You're like, yeah, why couldn't you have mulligan to 5 next game? When my hand wasn't perfect. Can you be luckier?
Meanwhile, Jacob is just deploying cards like crazy here. There goes a Tishana's Wayfinder. There goes a Blossom Dryad. And he's gone wide around this Territorial Territorial Hammer Skull with 4 creatures. And that's going to be it for Reid Duke.
I thought Reid was going to pick it up and attack with it. I was like, that's good effort.
So Jacob Nagro, looking to make a name for himself, says, I really love Magic, and I'm glad I'm continuing to prove myself as a player that deserves to play on the Pro Tour. And again, he's got the end of the bracket that really could make a nice case for himself, if he has to get through Reid Duke and then the winner of Anton versus Calcano.
Yeah, this is definitely the more high-profile part of the bracket that he's got.
Yeah. He does have a Grand Prix top 8 before he made the top 8 of Denver in 2016. And was a Silver Pro last season, as we said. Now, Reid Duke, on the other hand, you probably all are very familiar with him, but 2011 Magic Online champion, 2 Pro Tour top 8s, 22 previous Grand Prix top 8s, 6 wins, as we mentioned, which is a very good rate.
Oh, yes, so good. It's about twice what you would expect.
Right.
And, yeah, and I wonder how many of those are teams. Because you said William Jimson also has 6 GP top 8s.
Oh, that's true.
So, how many of those overlap? 3, 4?
Yeah, it's a handful.
Yeah, because if you've following the team tournament, what Reid, Huey, and Owen have managed to accomplish is astonishing.
Yeah, absolutely. They are just
their win
dominant.
rate is absurd.
They did lose the last one to Martin Yuza and team.
They did.
In the finals.
All of whom also have a very decent rate themselves.
Yeah. It really does feel like there's 4 or 5 teams that are just head and shoulders above any other permutation of 3 Magic players when it comes to that style of Magic play.
Yeah, definitely. There are a lot of teams that just do well consistently, and even better than you would expect. Team formats are already ones where you expect the better players to do well more because there's less variance and they practice that format more and whatnot. But those teams, they go above and beyond even that. They're better than their individual parts.
Yeah, we're going to see Reid Duke in a few weeks in a team event that you will also be playing in.
Oh, yeah,
that is
true.
We will see him at the World Magic Cup as the U.S. national captain alongside Jerry Thompson and Oliver Tomiko. Oliver Tomiko, the U.S. national champion.
The youngest ever, I've heard.
Youngest ever, yeah. Beat out beat up Mount Lindy, who was a U.S. national champion, who, interestingly, is also a Pro Tour champion in teams alongside William Huey Jensen.
Yeah,
as the Rockefellers.
Seems like Huey is good in teams.
Yes, he's always been good at teams. There you get a look at Reid Duke's deck as he's thinking about his sideboard cards. Anything jump out to you from Reid Duke's sideboard that maybe you would want to bring in? I mean, I don't know how much information you're able to take away from Reid's side of the table. You saw 3 colors. Both players had some access to, because Reid's draft was covered, the players do have access to each other's deck lists.
Yeah, I think Reid, there's nothing that Reid particularly wants to bring in. There no card jumps out to me in this regard. He might just want to take out the Awakening Sun's Avatar, depending on how many. Well, if he has deck list, then he should know how many dinosaurs Jacob has. And, he has some. That's his top end is mostly dinosaurs, but he has 2 Colossal Dreadmaws. But he also has a couple Merfolk, a couple humans, so Reid could keep that card. But if he wants to take something out, it'll probably be that.
By the way, just sitting next to Reid Duke, there you see Christopher Finley, and you want to say congratulations to him on his first Grand Prix top 8. He's like, basically, this is the start of my story for Magic. It's my first Grand Prix top 8, my first Pro Tour qualification. I finally queued for a PT. Super excited, and someone who has chosen Magic as the sort of competitive game he wants to test his mettle in. So great job by him. We talked about him earlier today.
Yeah, have you seen much about Kai?
No, I've seen Ari Lax talking about Kai Ruin a little bit. So let's take a look at him while we're waiting here. I got the profiles in front of me.
Yeah, other than his very auspicious name for a Magic player, I think I looked at the top 8 decks, and his deck seemed really good to me. He has a very solid green-red dinosaur deck, super aggressive. Has 8 or 9 2-drops. A good curve. His deck seemed really good. I was very impressed.
Kai includes his accomplishments as making Resounding Scream a staple in Standard Singleton.
I don't even know what that card is. Well, congratulations to him for accomplishing that. But what is Resounding Scream?
I got to give Ari Lax credit here, by the way, because Ari, when Kai was moving towards the top 8 throughout the tournament, he's like, I can't wait until Kai makes top 8 so he can talk about his accomplishments in Standard Singleton in his top 8 player profile. And that's exactly what he did. So good call by Ari Lax there. Yeah, it is the cycling card from Shards of Alara. Remember there was that whole cycle of resounding
Okay,
spells?
So you cycle for 8 and they discard 2 cards?
Yeah.
And you draw 1? That's how it goes?
Something like that, yeah.
Wait, that's a staple?
Well, in Standard Singleton, which was some Magic Online format.
Oh, that's nice.
That he and Ari Lax played a lot while they were supposed to be studying in school.
Ooh, do you see this? Reid chose to draw.
Wow.
That is very interesting. It's not common.
Well, you know what? He saw his opponent as a 3-color deck, and maybe makes it a little more difficult for him coming out of the gates, although, you know, things are looking pretty aggressive here for Jacob. He opens up with Jungle Delver and then has an Ixalan Diviner on turn 2.
Yeah, and here...
and also has all 3 colors of his mana in hand.
Yeah, that is always nice when you're playing a 3-color deck. But yeah, here Reid also knows his opponent has 2 sweepers, 2 Pirates Cannonades, so... 2 Fiery Cannonades. Yeah. So he's probably not looking towards a really beat dot draw.
Kinjali Caller into a turn 2 Territorial Hammerskull for Reid Duke. It's a sweet opening.
Yeah, that is a very good opening. The first Birds of Paradise we've had in Standard in quite some time, if you can make it work.
And it looks like Reid is just going to block the 1/4. And he just kind of... Oh, he's thinking about...
Yeah, this is just a Reid trigger from Jacob.
And he's going to draw 2 cards without having to discard anything. Plays a land and says go. Not sure why Reid was playing around with his creatures there in terms of blocking. I guess he's like, it doesn't matter, I'm just going to block.
Yeah.
So there's New Horizons for Reid Duke. And he gets to attack for 3, taps the Jungle Delver. You get a look at New Horizons card we saw a lot of this weekend.
We did, and that picture is really great.
Yeah,
by the way, not as highlighted, you get to see it. I really like it.
I love that card in a deck like Jacob's that has like some cheap drops to put the counter on early and then has some great mana sinks for it later on.
Yeah, it is a very kind of like paradoxical card because the decks that want mana ramp are usually not the ones that want an aggressive 2-drop. But for it to be really good, you want to be able to put a counter on something, but also it has to be worth it for you to spend a 3-drop on a mana ramp spell.
Right.
So not many decks have those 2 characteristics.
So here we see Headwater Sentries just pumps the brakes on Reid Duke's attacking plan. And he's like, okay, I'll play this Bellowing Aegisaur and pass the turn.
Yeah, this is turn 4.
Yeah.
So it was double ramped.
Merfolk Branchwalkers is the play for Jacob Nagro, who's showing off the Merfolk section of his deck here.
Yeah, Dino Folks.
Dino Folks.
Mirrorsaurus.
Adds a Deeproot Warrior as well. Boy, I gotta tell you, those Fiery Cannonades don't look really good in Jacob Nagro's deck right now.
No, they really don't. It would not only kill a lot of his creatures, it would also pump all of Reid's creatures in the process. So, and Awakening Sun's Avatar does look like he would be very good here. So even though some of Jacob's top end is dinosaurs, he seems to have enough creatures to make it good for Reid to play that 7-mana card. Or 8-mana card, rather.
Well, 7-mana card.
Yes.
with the Birds of Paradise in play.
Yes.
Looks like Jacob is holding on to an Opt here.
Yeah, and Jacob knows what the top card is. He played a Merfolk Branchwalker here, and I don't know if he kept the card or not, because we can see his graveyard. But if he did, it's interesting to not cast Opt this turn. Because if you know it's a card that you want to take, then you're just wasting the scry from the Opt, because you keep it on top regardless. So you're not pressured on time here. You don't have to act. The game is going to go long, probably. I don't know, you're just getting aggressive here. But in all likelihood, you have time. So you don't have to waste that scry. It's better to just next turn play.
Reid Duke plays an Imperial Aerosaur. Or no, I'm sorry, that was...
I mean, that's a card it could be.
Yeah.
He played it pre-combat. Oh, I guess he wants any creatures he would play pre-combat because the Bellowing Aegisaur could get damage.
Right, it was a Shining Aerosaur. I apologize. There you go. Get a look at it. And he gets in. He taps the Headwater Sentries. And what does Jacob want to do here? He wants to kill that Territorial Hammerskull. Does he want to? Can he put a bunch of guys in front of that?
I think he can. I mean, he knows Reid's list. So he probably doesn't know the list. He knows the card pool. He doesn't know what Reid is actually playing. Also, this is game 2, so Reid could have switched things around. but Reid's deck does not have the profile of a deck that would play a lot of pump spells anyway.
Right.
Like
he does have a Vampire Zeal in his sideboard.
Yeah, like you don't put Crash of Ramparts in your deck and then choose to draw. Like this just will never happen. So I think it's safe for him to block with a bunch of things. Even if you consider Vampire Zeal, that thing is going to become a... Yeah, it's going to be big.
Right now it's a 3/4 with that +1/+1.
It's going to be a 5/6. Oh, is that a pounce? Okay, that changes things.
Ah. So pounce takes out the Branch Walker. Dice go on all of Reid's non-bellowing Aegisaur creatures. And Jacob falls to 10. Plays an opt here.
Yeah,
so
he should already know what that card is.
Well, I'm saying if he's looking at the card, we're going to assume he pushed the card that...
to the graveyard?
To the graveyard.
It's possible.
Last turn.
Or the situation changed. You know, sometimes that happens.
So we see... is that another opt?
It is. Jacob does have a Colossal Dreadmaw here. So it will likely get tapped by the Hammer Skull, but at least the Sentries can then block the 4/5 Hammer Skull.
All right, and there it is. Colossal Dreadmaw. 6/6 for 6. But he also has to deal with that Shining Aerosaur.
Oh, yeah, that is the hidden one.
Yeah. Which
yep,
is
there it is.
4-power flyer here.
Yeah, it's looking pretty grim for him.
There you see Corbin Hostler very invested in the fate of the Merfolk, on Jacob Nagro's side of the table.
Yeah, Corbin Hostler, a known Merfolk aficionado.
All formats.
Yeah, some would say he's obsessive with it.
Yeah.
To an unhealthy degree. Some, I would never say that, but, you know, just the word's out.
But some would say that.
Some would.
So Reid Duke drawing up a battle plan here.
Yeah, Reid his position in the spot is really good. So he's basically trying to figure out what does my opponent have that can possibly kill me. Because if nothing happens, he's going to win. He has a big flyer, he has, you know, bigger attackers, he can step up blocker. So even if Reid has nothing, he can just attack with his 3 big creatures, and that cannot work out badly for him.
So Reid plays his Vanguard here, Emperor's Vanguard. And then just attacks with everybody.
Even the Kinjala's car is getting in.
And Jacob is at 10. He's looking at like he's lining up a gang block here on something. Possibly that Hammer Skull.
Yeah, it is the most threatening card at this point, I think. Because once the Dreadmaw can block the next turn, then things are going to be different. But he still has no answer for the Shining Aerosaur.
Right. And is currently, you know, taking 7 if he doesn't block the Aerosaur. I mean, the Aegisaur.
Yeah, but if he blocks the Aegisaur, then things just get bigger. So it is a tough spot for him. I don't know if he has answers to the Shining Aerosaur in his deck. Like, I think I saw he had Unfriendly Fire. No, he has Lightning Strike. That won't kill it. Neither would Unfriendly Fire. He has no Pounce to be able to fight the Dreadmaw with it, so... Yeah, I'm not sure. He has Reneground. That will stall it for a turn. Depths of Desire. Or rather, 2 turns.
All right. So he puts the Diviner in front of the Kinjali Caller, and then he puts 3 creatures in front of Territorial Hammer Skull. And Reid lines them up so that he can kill the Deeproot Warrior and the Jungle Delver.
Yeah, I think this is the play that makes the most sense. It does put him dead next turn if he cannot find a way to answer the Aegisaur, but if he can find a way to stall it a little bit, then he's back in the game, so to speak. Then Reid doesn't have great attacks.
Falls to 3. He gets the dig with that opt here. He needs to find a bounce spell at the very least. Doesn't find it there, pushes. Draws a card, it's a land. He is going to find himself shuffling up for game 3 in just one attack step here.
Yeah, I would be already. Maybe I concede too quickly. But, you know, there's no way Reid doesn't attack there. Deck lists are known. So, like, all you're going to do is make sure, well, you're kind of making Reid go through his potential attack as if there was an answer for Jacob. But
yeah, and then Reid just attacks with the flyer. And game 3 is coming up as these players shuffle. There you get a look again at the deck for Reid Duke. So the question I guess we have is whether or not he left that Awakening Sun's avatar in the deck.
I think he did, or he should if he didn't. It's possible he's had it out, but then he's bringing it back in again. I think it's a good card in this matchup. He has more dinosaurs. His opponent has a lot of merfolks.
So let me ask you a question now. You're Jacob Nagro. Reid Duke has chosen to draw in your game 2. What do you do when you're choosing to play or draw now that it's this game 3?
Honestly, if I'm Jacob, well, there are two schools of thought, right? The first one is Reid is a more experienced player than me. If Reid chose to draw, it's for a reason, so I'm just going to choose to draw myself. That is something you can do. The other thing you can think of is Reid chose to draw, so he configured his deck in a way that is probably lower. He thinks we're going to play his lower game, so I'm going to take out my fiery cannonates, for example. This is something that I think Jacob should do, whether he's going to play or on the draw. Like game 1, he saw a bunch of 3/1 dinosaur companions from Reid, but those cards probably aren't in Reid's deck anymore, or if they are, they're just planned to be used as blockers. Like he knows Reid is going to approach this matchup from the controlling perspective. Now, it depends on how confident he is that he wants to play. Like, it's fine to be like, okay, you're more experienced. If you chose to draw, that's for a reason. So I'm going to choose to draw as well. I'm not going to let you do what you want. If it's me, though, if I have Jacob's deck and I'm playing against Reid's deck, I'm choosing to play, I think. But I really don't like choosing to draw. It's something that really bothers me. I think in modern Magic, it's just so easy to run over someone if you have a good draw and they have a bad draw. They just shouldn't, discard this possibility by choosing to draw. It is more likely you have a functioning draw if you choose to draw. So that's probably where you're going for. So I understand it, and I wouldn't be surprised if Jacob chose to draw here as well. But I think I lean towards playing.
Now, what's Reid's reasoning in the first place? I mean, is it?
Well, Reid's reasoning is probably this game is not going to be a tempo fight. This game is going to go slightly longer than normal, and we're going to be staring at each other's board for a while, and whoever wins is going to win with flyers or with a big Awakening Sun's avatar. So it's okay for me to choose to draw, because you're not going to go turn 2 creature, turn 3 creature, turn 4 creature. My back will not be against the wall. That is what Reid thought.
But then he did. Then Jacob did actually come out with a ton of creatures early, but
they did. But Reid's draw was also exceptionally good,
right.
I think. So Reid actually did that better than Jacob, and was never in any danger of losing that game. He was just very aggressive from the get-go.
All right. Well, it'll be interesting to see what Jacob chooses to do here.
Yeah, like those 2 Blossom Dryas have to go. And Jacob, given that this is a long matchup and Reid chose to draw. He might want to bring in the Search for Ascanta.
Oh, interesting.
He doesn't have a lot of things to dig to, though. He has 1 Depths of Desire, 1 Lightning Strike, and then the rest is a bunch of cantrips. Has 1 Run Aground, but like Price, Opt, Commune. Those aren't great to be searching for with Search for Ascanta, but, if the game is stalling, you need something, it's a good card to have.
It does look like Jacob chose to be on the play.
And
yeah. Both players have kept their hands, and we're underway with a Commune with dinosaurs.
Yeah, so this is the disrespect play. This is like, I see what you did. I don't agree with you. I'm just gonna. I think I'm gonna play, and I think that's fine. That's a fine position. It's what I would do too.
Jacob takes a forest over Raging Swordtooth there.
Yeah, always upsetting, but you have to do it.
He draws a Thundering Spineback for his turn here. And he's going to opt right now.
Yeah, here it's nice to see that he's opting main phase because he has another Commune with dinosaurs in his deck. So if he gets that from the opt, he gets to play it immediately and doesn't waste a minute next turn. So has a play by Jacob here.
So Skyblade of the Legion comes down for Reid Duke. And no turn 3 play for Jacob Nagro. He's going to take one here. And suddenly facing down a Territorial Hammerskull. So he is going to be up against it here.
Yeah, he will. And it would have been much worse if you were in the draw.
Oh, absolutely. And there is the Headwater Sentries.
Yeah, this is the type of card that makes Reid want to choose to draw. Like, my opponent is going to play a bunch of 2/5s, so the game is going to go along.
And in the meantime, he still just gets to attack right past it. Has 2 Territorial Hammerskulls in play, so this is a great spot for Reid Duke to be in.
Yeah, he most definitely is. And, you know, Jacob might as well attack here. I think there's a 99% chance that Reid blocks, but there's a 0% chance that Sanchez is going to block.
I say, 0% chance that Jacob blocks.
Yeah, so.
He does have a run aground. He does have a Grazing Whiptail to play this turn. He does pass the turn. Is he representing Dive Down here?
Yeah, but Dive Down is threatening with 1 blocker or 2. So
he
it
doesn't even have a Dive Down
truly
on his list, so he's not even representing it. So
okay, but even if he were, you know.
So Reid Duke attacks Jacob down to 11. Shining Aerosaur comes down, joins the team here. And Jacob's got to deal with both of those Hammerskulls and needs to deal with them soon.
I don't think he has a lot of ways of doing that.
No, I mean, he can sort of mitigate things with, like, run aground or... But...
Well, that is certainly not the way to do that.
And then Pirate's Prize is the play for him here.
Yeah, what Jacob needed here was a creature with 3 power. Or, like, not necessarily 3 power, it's just going to get tapped. But he needs at least... He needs kind of 2 creatures here. You know, on creature away to pump the sentries, because he has to make it so that those Hammerskulls don't want to attack. But he couldn't do that.
So is he going to play the Blossom Dryad this turn?
He probably has to, but he's just going to take 8. He's going to go to 3.
Yeah.
And there's a 3/4 flyer and 2 creatures that tap. That tap blockers. So
instead he goes for the Opt here.
I'm not sure what he's looking for. He doesn't have like a pounce.
Finds looks like found a Merfolk Branchwalker, which he's going to play.
That is a good card to find.
It's a 3-power creature. That looks like Fiery Cannonade.
I think it's a Lightning Strike.
Oh, it's a Lightning Strike, okay.
Which he would really want if he was able to cast it.
Right, he just used his treasure to cast the Branchwalker.
Yeah. He might have to keep it and hope to draw red first next turn. That thing's like the following turn and use their run around to stall. That seems unlikely though. Probably cannot afford to do it.
So Reid Duke attacks with everything, taps the Branchwalkers, taps the Grazing Whiptail. The Headwater Sentries is going to bounce with 1 of the Territorial Hammerskulls, and Nagro falls to 5 here.
Yeah, and here, had he drawn that Lightning Strike instead, the turn before, you know, it was 1 card sooner, that would have been very good for him. Because the treasure would still be in play, you know, but unfortunately the order of the cards didn't really help him there, and he was forced to put it in the graveyard.
Now he could play Thundering Spineback this turn, but instead he's going to play Cobbled Wings. He's going to put it on the Headwater Sentries. And then looks like he's going to cast, maybe plans on casting Run Aground here.
Yeah, if he Run Agrounds a Territorial Hammerskull before combat, then he actually gets to block the Shiny Aerosaur. Doesn't kill it, so it doesn't accomplish that much.
So yeah, Reid says ready to go to attackers. Jacob says, yep, I'm going to Run Aground that. Put it on top of your library. And now Jacob has 2 creatures that can block a flyer here.
Yeah, and Reid, can attack with a Hammer Skull, but that would just be throwing it onto the Merfolk Branchwalker. So not something he really wants to do here, I don't think.
What is Reid thinking about here? It does look like he has, by the way, the Waking Sun's Avatar in his hand.
Yeah, he does. Reid could have a pounce, and he could be trying to figure out if he wants to pounce the Hammer Skull with the Branchwalker.
And let it not have to draw that card next turn?
Yeah, that could be the thing he's thinking about.
In the end, he decides to let it resolve.
Yeah, I don't think, given no other cards, I don't think Reid has good attacks here. Like, if he attacks with the 3 creatures, he gets to tap 8/3/4?
He would lose his Hammer Skull in the process.
Yeah, he would deal 1 damage and lose a Hammer Skull.
So that looks like that was...
Yeah, there's Sunrise Seeker. Yeah. Which is a 4/4 is actually quite threatening in this board.
And that looks like a card that he sided in. So here is the Thundering Spineback.
Yeah, wow. Is Jacob going to get back in this game?
It's got
two
creatures that block flyer. I mean, we are going to get a second territorial Hammer Skull back on the board here.
Yeah, we are. At that point, though, it's not even lethal. Like, Reid has 4 power for flyers. So if he makes an attack that would sacrifice his 2 Hammer Skulls to get those 4 points of damage in, he might never get the 5th.
Wow.
So it looked like a done deal for Reid. But I don't think it is. I think Reid has to think and come up with something.
Nicely played by Jacob Nagro here to get himself back into this.
Yeah, and we see that Jacob, now his 2 flying or reach creatures are dinosaurs. So the Awakening Sun's Avatar can't even clear the way for that.
Well, Reid is just coming in with everybody. He says, tap your Grazing Whiptail.
I mean, I think blocks here are automatic. The 5/5 will block the 3/4. Then the Merfolk will trade with their Hammer Skull, and the Sentinel will bounce off the Sunrise Seeker.
Okay. And that means 1 point of damage is coming through to Jacob Nagro. But Vampire Zeal came in out of the sideboard as well for Reid Duke. And he's going to use the Vampire Zeal to kill that Thundering Spineback and save his flyer.
Yeah, now it's back to... it's really good for Reid.
So Reid going deep into his sideboard for this match.
Yeah, this is a spot where Jacob has to think, well, Reid attacked. He probably has something, because this attack is really bad if he doesn't. But at the same time, if he has something, what can you do?
Yeah, he's at 5. He has to block things.
Yeah, maybe the 3/4 should have blocked the 3/4 was tapped, so... Yeah, Reid also could have tapped the 5/5 flyer and tapped the 3/4 instead, which forced the... It forced the 5/5 to block the Griff, or he would have just died. The Ariasaur.
So once again, Reid is looking at attacking all his creatures into Jacob Nagro. Taps
And
the Headwater Sentries that have the cobbled wings. Now the Grazing Sentinel has to block there, and he has to chump there with the Blossom Dryad. He's going to go to 1.
yeah, it's not looking good for him.
No, absolutely not. Draws his card for the turn. It looks... Was that a...
I think it was a Merfolk?
Yeah, that looked like it might have been a
Water Trap Weaver? Water Trap Weaver? No, that will stall it for a turn.
Okay, there's the Water Trap Weaver. It taps the Territorial Hammer Skull. And what is the blue card he has in hand right now?
It's a cancel.
It is a cancel?
Yeah.
Okay. Moves the cobbled wings around.
Yeah, so now Reid doesn't have good attacks. Everything can just bounce off each other.
Well, Unless he finds a mana to be able to resolve this Waking Sun's avatar.
You know,
Oh, he has his own Thundering Spine back. That gets canceled.
Yeah, Reid has to pass here. But, you know, it's a happy pass. It's like next turn I'm just going to win.
A happy pass.
Yeah. It's not, you know, a dejected pass.
Very Bob Ross of you. All right. It's a happy untap for Reid Duke here.
Oh, yeah.
Just got to get 1 point of damage through. He's got superior numbers even without the Hammer Skull tapping one of those creatures down.
Yeah, and the fact that he has effectively an extra creature means even if Jacob has Windstrider or Snapping Sailback, Reid just wins through that regardless.
And so here we go. And there's the hand. Reid Duke advances to the semifinals, where he is going to face the winner of Christian Calcano versus Anton Janssen. That's going to be a match you're not going to want to miss. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to the booth. That was a great match. Reid Duke, one step closer to getting his 7th Grand Prix top 8 in his 23rd Grand Prix top 8 appearance. So
yeah, that's very impressive.
Pretty crazy for someone who hasn't even been playing on the Pro Tour 10 years yet. Not eligible for the Hall of Fame yet.
Yeah, when is he eligible?
I believe it's going to be 2020.
20? Okay,
Yeah,
so still a while.
Still a while away. Anyway, we got a couple quick messages, and then we'll be back soon with more action from the top 8 here at Grand Prix Phoenix.